Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Hello Hot Flash, where we teach you how to control the midlife change. Today's topic is important to all women, but you may want to listen before sharing this episode with a young daughter or niece. Our guest today is Deeannah Seymour. Deeannah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. I'm so happy to be here with you.
I'm happy to have you here too. I always say that, I say this quite often, rather, that I use this as my own form of education because there's so many wonderful, knowledgeable women out there that has so much for us to learn. And so I love to talk to folks like you that are going to share some new information with us today.
Excited to do it.
Awesome. Deeannah is the CEO and co-founder of PhD Feminine Health. Deeannah and I are going to discuss the importance of vaginal health and what you can do when you start to have that maybe vaginal odor or there's just something not right going on down there. We will discuss that today and then talk a little bit about the company and how it can support women. So again, thank you for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. So I started out for 20 years. I was in the pharmaceutical industry and had no intentions of being an entrepreneur whatsoever. And it's funny how life happens to you, but also for you, in my opinion. And during that time that I worked in the pharmaceutical industry, I had been on tons of antibiotics for sinus infections and had was just tired of, when we're on antibiotics as women, we know what happens. It destroys the flora in our gut and also in our vaginas. And I was just tired of dealing with that. And I was looking for a holistic alternative, to help with feminine care issues. After being on the antibiotics and having sinus surgeries as a result of that, I was looking for something better that just didn't exist. So I started researching holistic ingredients, but it was hugely important for those ingredients to be backed by published clinical data and some studies. And there was a lot of wives' tales out there, as you know, for feminine care. And I came across, dozens of studies that had been done on the use of boric acid vaginal suppositories for feminine care. And I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. So I ended up trying it myself. I made my own self-care help remedy at home, and it changed my life. And I remember thinking, why in the world is no one making these commercially? Why are they not available for the millions of women who need them? And talk about life happening for you. As it turned out, my daughter was the only league in a girl of 300 boys playing ice hockey. And her coach had a manufacturing facility that made holistic products for
No
people. That's
way.
crazy. I mean, what are the odds, right?
So happened.
Yes. And so I went to him armed with my stack of literature and told him what boric acid had done for me. And he agreed to start producing them. So within 6 months after launching on Amazon, we began selling in 2014, launched on Amazon in 15, and they became the bestseller in the category. And we knew we were onto something, not just because of the velocity, but most importantly, because of the evangelical reviews of the women who were using them. One of the things, about feminine care issues is a lot of times they're recurrent, particularly, with feminine odor, can be recurrent 50% of the time in women who have it. So it's debilitating to the point where women, of course, might not want to be intimate. They might not want to go to the gym and exercise, get in a bathing suit. It's deeply emotionally and psychologically impactful. And also, I've had hundreds of women say, I didn't even want to get a pedicure because I was too embarrassed that someone might smell. And so it was that really fueled us to know that, we've got to lean into this. And ended up, I had my life planned out for me. I was going to stay at this company and I was going to retire from this company because it was wonderful. I was a single mom of two kids and provided all the safety and security that I thought I needed.
Right.
And ended up, PhD was going to be my side hustle, but it just got to the point where it was requiring more and more of my time. So ended up leaving in 2017. He came over to run the company full time. And since then, we have expanded. Our first retailers that we launched in were Target and CVS, which was just a huge, huge blessing. And we were so successful there that Walmart called and Walgreens. And now we've gone from around 6,000 stores at the end of 2019 to now over 50,000 stores nationwide and then in Canada too. So
That's
we have made, we're now a feminine care brand and we're leaning into, products that can improve women's lives throughout all stages, including menopause. So
yeah.
excited to talk to you more about that.
I know that's awesome. That is so amazing. I love when something happens to you, as you said, but it's really happening for you. And what are the odds? Once again, if you being just there in the right place at the right time, it meant that's when you know that that's the step that you need to take. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
I want to step back a little bit and talk about why boric acid. What did the research
Yeah.
say, and how does that support women?
Yeah. So boric acid, it's so crazy. I like to keep this on my desk because it has been used for over 100 years for feminine care issues. And I have a old family farm where I'm from in Mississippi, and the house itself is over 100 years. And this boric acid crystals are in every bathroom in that home. And this was probably from the 30s, maybe, or 40s. I don't know. But I had to keep it on my desk to remind me that I think it was meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But boric acid, it's a holistic compound. It's found in seawater. It's naturally occurring. And again, people have been using it, for over a decade for various issues, for eye washes, ear washes, vaginal washes. And then when they, developed the gelatin capsule, they found an easy delivery system of inserting the boric acid crystals into the gelatin capsule. But prior to that, it was used as a douche and highly effective to help get rid of feminine odor and other feminine issues as well. So yeah, it's a natural compound that it's interesting, more things change, the more things stay the same.
Right.
People are coming back around to these ingredients that were relied upon many many years ago. So it's really great to see because they work.
They do. They do.
And so, and it's also a way for women to use them, or boric acid in particular, for if intercourse can cause you to have odor, or menstruation, exercise. There's so many different things that can cause that. And certain women, might have different triggers than other women. But also talking about menopause, I've talked to thousands of women who had never had odor in their entire lives until they started going through those hormonal changes during menopause, even way before menopause, like perimenopause, in their late 30s, early 40s. And all of a sudden they get odor because their hormones are fluctuating so much. So, and we get calls every day saying, what is wrong with me? And that has been so important for us as a company to open up the conversation about this and remove the stigma associated, because women will call us in tears, think, what have I done wrong? We even have men calling saying, what is wrong with my wife? I think she's cheating on me because all of a sudden she has odor. Well, no, it's not that. It's just it happens, and it happens to all of us. There's no reason to be ashamed, but we need to open up these conversations and let women know. So I'm so grateful for you, Stephanie, for doing this, for having these open, honest conversations about the changes in our bodies. And we, every decade, I feel like there's something new that we have to contend with as women. So, but women need to know that there's something they can do about it, and it's completely okay and
So,
not their fault.
so it's true, not our fault. Once we start using the product, is it something you have to continue to use, or do you only use it at certain times of the month? How does that work?
Yeah. So some women might find they use it one time and they insert it nightly before they go to sleep, and then it dissolves overnight. Some women might find, after 1 to 4 nights, they don't have to use it again. But millions of other women have found that it's highly effective to use one maybe 2 or 3 times a week, just to keep everything in check, and keep that odor from coming back, or inserting it after intercourse, or after their period, or during their period, if they feel comfortable doing that. Just what you kind of learn to see whatever works for you. Anything that might be a trigger for you. Some medications can cause women to have feminine care issues, so using it while they're on those medications too. So it really is an individual, because every body is so different too, and how they react to things. But great question.
So are other symptoms, burning, itching, what are some other symptoms where this can be helpful for women?
So in other countries, like in Canada, PhD, we're required to market it as a yeast infection treatment, but in the US, it's odor. So, but I would encourage women to definitely always consult your health care provider before self-diagnosing, and sometimes just a quick phone call asking them about their recommendation for using boric acid can often, help them with that too. But leaning into the healthcare provider, they're so important throughout our our stages of our lives, particularly during menopause, and making sure you're having those conversations with your provider, and hormone levels, and all the things that come with that too. But healthcare providers are paramount to us as a company. And, we have our medical advisory board of OBGYNs and nurse practitioners and midwives. We also have a scientific advisory board of PhDs that help us with product development. And therefore, because of the importance that we place on healthcare providers, we are the #1 doctor recommended boric acid suppository, which is a very big deal for us, because we like to be aligned with the science, and make sure that we're getting the buy-in of those healthcare professionals along the way.
I love that. I love to hear that. The fact that you're bringing in the science and the research, and you have physicians saying this is a product that you can use and can use safely. That's so important. Because our audience are primarily postmenopausal and perimenopausal women, what other benefits could they gain from using boric acid supplements?
Yeah, so the suppository, the original
Suppositories, I said supplements, didn't
That's
I?
okay. Do not take my mouth, ladies. Please don't swallow it.
Yes, do not swallow.
Yeah. But one thing, and I'm so sorry I don't have it at my desk right now. I wish that I did, because I usually have a bunch of stuff. But so the original boric acid suppository is in a gelatin capsule. But one of the things that I developed, because a lot of women, your audience, my age, were using coconut oil to insert the suppository. And because sometimes, different stages of our lives, we don't produce enough moisture needed for that suppository to dissolve effectively. So I'm like, why don't we make a suppository that has the vitamin E and coconut oil, the two things that, help moisturize the vagina, along with the boric acid. So it's a 2-in-1 product. So we did that. We developed a moisturizing boric acid vaginal suppository that is phenomenal. As a matter of fact, I got a call from my aunt who is in her mid 70s and had just had vaginal prolapse surgery done and had a lot of issues going on. So she started using that product and called me the next day after one use. I was like, this is amazing. So you can find that at Target and other stores launching here soon, but also online. But it's a great product for women, our age who might need a little help with moisture. But even if you don't have odor, it's a phenomenal product to insert, 2 or 3 times a week, just to help us maintain that moisture that we so need.
That's awesome. I'm happy to hear about that. I knew that there was a new product coming out. I didn't know exactly what that
Yeah,
was. So that's great to hear that as well.
yeah.
What other information can you provide to us? What else as women should we be thinking about when it comes to our vaginal health?
Well, I think we need to be, proactive, you instead of so reactive. I feel like that in talking with a lot of my friends that, there are so many products out there that can help us throughout these stages. And one of the brand new products that we're launching is a vaginal moisturizing gel that is going to be at at Walgreens here in the next few weeks. And this is different than the suppository that works for odor as well. But it's, we don't have to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of wonderful products out there to help us through these stages. And, leaning into that and learning more about these products and doing the research. We talking about research, we have a full-time product development scientist on staff. She's amazing and so brilliant. And she is really helping us, lean into ingredients that are recommended by providers. So the vitamin E and the hyaluronic acid for this moisturizing gel to really help, at this cellular level, the cells of the vaginal epithelium, to help them have that moisture that they need so that we're not uncomfortable and miserable during the whole process. So, being proactive, talking to your healthcare provider, however, if it's a holistic provider or an MD or a nurse practitioner or midwife, making sure you're having those conversations so that there's things that can be done to prevent the suffering and angst and everything else that goes along with it.
What I've found recently is it feels as if people are more willing to have these conversations, which I think is so, like, would I have been on a podcast talking about the vagina? No, I wouldn't have been
right?
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Not even 2 years ago. But it feels as more women are getting to that stage of life, it becomes more of a reality to us. And we now know we don't have to suffer like our parents and our
Right.
grandmas did. There are
Yeah.
things that can help us. I'm so grateful that you did the research. Not happy that you were sick by any means, but
Okay.
that triggered you doing this type of research that is so important to women as we age.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was having a conversation with some retailers recently, and I'm like, finally, menopause is having its moment.
Yes.
After decades of misinformation and or just not discussing it at all, finally we're having open, honest conversations. When we'll spend a third of our lives in menopause, we need to. So, and kudos to you for, bridging that gap and making it happen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I enjoy doing this so much. So a couple other things. I saw that you
Yes.
guys have a social impact portion under your
Yes.
website and you're giving back. Tell us, I think that is so important. So tell us a little bit about the social impact.
Yeah. So our mission is to improve the lives of women. And in doing that, we have to be philanthropic. And that was instilled in me as a child. And, you're putting a hand out and helping people out that maybe don't have the means to do so. So there are several organizations that we partner with, and when you check out on our website, you have an opportunity to choose from charities to donate to. But there's several, the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee that helps eliminate period poverty, because it's awful to think that there are women in this world, and even women in Middle Tennessee and Nashville, where I'm from, who can't afford to buy period products. It breaks my heart. So, we are leaning into that and helping them raise money for that arm. As a matter of fact, we're going to be having an event here September 21st called the Know Yourself Well event, where we're going to be raising money for that foundation. And it'll be a great night of fundraising, and then also having healthcare professionals there to have real conversations about women's health and food and drink and fun. But a lot of education too will go into that. So, helping improve the lives of women through other organizations. That's one of the organizations we donate to, but there's countless others that we do as well. But we always make sure that they're aligned, fundamentally with improving the lives of women. So that's hugely important to us.
I love that. And when I saw that, I'm like, we have to talk about that on the podcast, because that's just as important as the product, and just
Absolutely.
as important as educating, making sure that you're giving back. So I love that about the company.
Thank you.
I have one more question for you. So what is one piece of advice you can share with our audience to help them manage hormonal changes?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I was saying, being proactive. I'm guilty of not being proactive, truthfully. For probably close to a year, I didn't sleep well. And silly me, I was attributing it to entrepreneurship and owning my own business. And I mean, it's a wonderful thing, but it's the most stressful thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I would wake up at 3 or 3:30 nearly every single night and not be able to go back to sleep. And it was awful, exhausting. And my cortisol levels, I'm sure, were through the roof because of stress, but then also lack of sleep. And it was this, cascade of poor health that followed. And looking back, I'm like, well, duh. It's because my hormones were out of whack. I'm like, okay, I should know better. And then when I, went for my yearly exam and they did the blood draw, they're like, honey, you're past menopause. I'm like, what? Like,
Happened.
what happened? But it makes perfect sense.
Right.
I didn't sleep because
Right.
I was a wreck. So listen to our bodies. And I'm preaching to I say this all the time, but I'm guilty. Make sure we're listening to our bodies and understanding that when things change, there's probably a reason. Whereas I was trying to, blame it all on my, entrepreneurial journey. That's not the case. It was definitely.
It was horrible. Yeah, I know, but when you combine the two, that takes you to another level, let me tell you.
Yes. So true. Off the charts.
Yes, yes. I've loved this conversation, and I know people are going to be so excited to find your product. So tell folks how they can find out more about you.
Yeah. So phdfemininehealth.com is our website. All of our products are available on Amazon, and we have a wonderful array of products at Target, CVS, and soon Walgreens, very soon, a whole line there. And then also Walmart as well. So pretty much Kroger, Publix, HEB, Hy-Vee, you can find our products. But convenience on Amazon as well, and then on our website too.
That's awesome. And I will put all of that information in the show notes so folks can find you.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for being a guest today.
Thank you for having me. It's been lovely. I've loved meeting you.
I love meeting you as well. Everyone, thank you so much for listening to Hello Hot Flash, where we help you control the midlife change. Make sure to check out the show notes where we will include links to the subjects that we discussed today. And if you want to discover how to manage your hormones so you can sleep better, have more energy, and manage your weight, take the quiz on hellohotflash.com. It only takes 90 seconds. All right, everyone, here's to your health.